Let's face it, art is not really meant to be understood by most people. Which is why in this next documentary, Peter Oldring visits an artist to attempt to understand more about her artistic process and see if he can see what others are claiming to see in her work. This is An Empty Room.
Art is typically defined as the expression of human imagination and creativity in a visual form such as painting or sculpture.
Hi, Lana, I'm Peter Oldring.
And it is appreciated primarily for its beauty or its emotional power.
Wow, what a big space in here.
Yeah, sorry about this little
But what if there wasn't anything to see?
and watch out for that. That's
Oh, sorry, I didn't...
Is it still considered art if it's invisible?
So there's something right here.
Oh, yes. That's probably my favorite piece.
Is
I
it
would say.
a sculpture or a painting that we're...
It's a sculpture. It's an installation.
Lana Newstrom is a 27-year-old artist that's making a name for herself in the art world. She makes art you can't see. Her art is invisible.
You know, I did painting, I did sculpture, I did installation, I did Mod Podge, all of these styles, and, you know, no one was biting. No one was interested. No galleries would take my work. And then I thought, invisible art.
With Lana's invisible art, there's nothing to look at. Rather, the work exists solely in Lana's imagination. If this sounds confusing to you, you're not alone. Lana tells me how she goes about creating a work of invisible art.
Well, essentially what I do is, you know, I'll think, okay, what kind of medium am I going to work in today? Let's say, oh, okay, today I'm going to imagine making a sculpture. So I have to imagine the type of materials I'm going to collect. So I have to imagine balsa wood and some metal, the tone, the color, the shape, me picking up, oh, one's a little heavy. I have some cyan, some ochres. I'm like, oh, this tree's gonna go here. I'm gonna use a number 2 brush. Imagine getting some water. Oh, the water's out. I forgot to pay my bill. Right, I have to call the water people. I have to imagine them telling me that I have an overdue balance. So I have to imagine telling them, well, I think you're wrong. I actually did pay my bill last month. I should have water.
And all of this is just simply happening in your imagination.
Yeah.
Attention everybody! Now listen, I know there's going to be a lot of hands working here, so let's pay attention to what we're doing.
Although the merits of Lana's work are highly debated, big players in the art world are taking notice.
Nothing gets hung unless Lana says it's a painting, because there's also some sculptures here, right? Okay.
As part of Art Week, Lana has been invited to put on an exhibition at New York's renowned Schulberg Gallery. Schulberg Gallery creator, Paul Rooney.
You know, a lot of people have a very difficult time trying to understand what it's like to be looking at one of Lana's imagined pieces.
Okay, Jose, would you please get the sculpture? And it's quite large, so you're going to have to lift with your legs.
It's heavier than that.
It's heavier than that, Lana's saying.
And to describe it in words, it kind of falls flat. But when you're there, when you're in the space, when you're in front of her pieces, you're overwhelmed by this feeling. It's almost a connection that defies the senses.
Game, and then we want sea foam in C up here, yes?
Foam and C is already actually hanging.
Oh, it
It's
is?
already there. Yeah, it's there.
And also having Lana there to describe what you're looking at is very helpful too.
But not everyone is buying into the buzz around Lana's work.
What Miss Newstrom's work is illustrating, in my opinion, is a lazy artist.
Art critic Morris Heder.
We've actually seen this kind of thing before. In the 80s, there was an artist by the name of Pierre Lachonx, and he would create these sculptures, and then he'd simply bury them in people's suburban backyards. Art, to have any credibility, you have to see it, you have to hear it, you have to be able to interact with it. In my opinion, what Miss Newstrom and Mr. Rooney are doing is fraudulent.
I didn't see you sneak in.
I did.
It's opening night at the Schulberg Gallery. Paul tells me that it's an absolute who's who of the art world.
Great, this is fabulous. You guys really did knock it out of the park.
This is somebody hard to impress, I'll tell you.
It's a strange sight to see hundreds of people looking at blank walls, discussing what they think they feel, what they think they see.
We were just discussing this, and we were both saying that it makes us feel uncomfortable.
Yes, of course.
My wife said she was interested in a painting, the one with red, and I can't figure out what she's talking about.
You know what? I feel like I have seen some pieces, and then some I just can't seem to see.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like a video installation, right?
Oh, you're actually not looking at anything right now.
The name tags are helpful because it at least shows you where they are.
How are you enjoying the artwork?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, it's obviously a lot better when they describe it.
I walked in, they were saying, it's right there in front of you, and I said, what, the wall? And they were like, no, like right in front of the wall, between you and the wall, that's where it is. And I was like, I don't get it.
Like, I don't know how many times I gotta say this, but there's nothing there, all right? Like, I'm walking through the room, and she's like, oh, don't walk through my piece. And I'm like, lady, there's nothing there. There's just air there.
Although it's hard to tell if people have responded favorably to the exhibition, Paul assures me that the show is a smashing success.
I feel what might be a nice fit for you would be deception.
In fact, there's so much buzz around Lana's work that tonight she sold 4 pieces.
That's a painting or is it a sculpture?
I don't know. Which
It's a sculpture.
Valued each at over $35,000.
Sculpture? Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah, we'll do that.
We can deliver it to you.
You'll install this at our house, will you?
Yes. I will.
After spending time with Lana and Paul, I'm not sure that I'm any closer to understanding exactly what art is. But one thing is for certain. It's a lot easier to be critical if you can see it.
There's some red wine I've imagined over here, so please help yourself.
But I suppose that sometimes it's good to take a leap of faith and believe in the invisible.
Oh no, my gosh, oh my gosh. Migration game is missing. Migration game has been stolen.
What?
Migration game has been stolen.
No, sweetheart, no, it's fine. The name tag just fell off the wall. It's still here.
For This Is That, I'm Peter Oldring.
At least I think it is.